Welcome to Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is Ike Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped you get off. Today we're going to talk about sexuality. Today we're going to talk about a whole bunch of different things with a listener. That's right, it is another episode of Open Lines. Open Lines is basically for people who are new to the podcast, where I speak to listeners of the podcast, people who enjoy the podcast, people who love talking about sex and their kinks and fetishes and all that fun stuff. But sometimes we also talk about some of the things that we deal with growing up, either being gay or having certain fetishes and kinks that are not accepted. So today we're going to talk to my guest, who is from Vegas, who is going by the name of Jake. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about sexuality. So please help me welcome Jake. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
I'm much better than I was 2 weeks ago, last week, all that fun stuff. As you know, we're still dealing with all this Omicron stuff. And
Oh, I know. It's absolutely insane.
yeah, I just had a bout with it. Wasn't fun. I don't recommend it.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry. You're better though, right?
Much better now, and I'm glad I did get it. So that way, I don't know what the immunity is, but I'm acting like I'm bulletproof right now. So
As you should.
Yeah.
As you should.
yeah, and a couple of my other friends got it too, and they feel the same way. They're like, "Oh, let's go out," and I'm like, "Aren't you worried? You're the one that was always worried." "Oh no, I got it already. I'm good." And I'm like, "Okay, all right, sure." So yeah, that plus a couple of other things. Before we get going, I want to mention to the listeners, it's been a rough season 3 to start. As you can tell, I started in October, and we are still on episode 9. I think this is episode 8 or 9, partially because, I enjoy doing these in person. Unless they're open lines, I enjoy doing them in person with the models because it's a different experience. I will do some Zoom calls, but I try to stay away from that. So between that and, just getting a lot of cancellations for shoots and stuff like that, it's been really, really hard. But I will have a Q&A at the end of this month, possibly right after the Gay Vienna Awards, which are happening on Wednesday of this week, this coming week. So yeah, tune in for that. I will post it everywhere. It'll probably be on something called Mixcloud. We'll go live with some music this time. A lot of I don't know, Jake, have you seen any of the Q&As?
Have I seen any of the Q&As? No, I mostly listen to the podcast when I'm driving, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, no worries. You're good. You're not missing. Well, actually, there's a lot of good interaction, but while I'm waiting for questions, there's really nothing going on. So people are just like looking at me. It's quite it's quite uncomfortable. But
I see. I mean, I've seen some clips like with you and like Sean Duran, and I can think of I've seen clips, but I don't typically like watch like a whole thing. I usually, like I said, do it when I'm driving.
Yeah.
But I can tell when you have like porn stars and just people that I can tell if the dynamic is there. I can I can hear it even without seeing it when I'm driving, which I really appreciate.
And for the most part, all the porn stars that I do interview, I have worked with. There are occasionally some that I have not worked with, but I am about to work with. So I'll ask them to come on the podcast and stuff. It's very rare that I find or that I get people outside of it, because I don't know, it feels like, as much as it would be good for the podcast, it feels a little generic on my end because I'm only doing it for the likes or for the shares, and
right.
This is pretty much, it's an organic show. It's grown organically, and I enjoy that. So
right. And I was kind of telling you before we went live, like that's what I appreciate about the show. Like I can tell you work super hard on it, and you care about what the people want. You care about who you get on. That's kind of why I wanted to come on and talk about what we're going to talk about today. Just I don't know, just to add a new element to it.
Yeah.
So,
and I appreciate that. I appreciate what you said. Appreciate the fact that you listen. And let's get right into it. Let's talk about, you hit me up on Instagram, which I always tell my listeners that I'm very available.
He's very available, so hit him up if you're
don't hit me up with an ass picture or a dick picture. I'm not interested in having sex with you.
No. I didn't do that.
No, you did not. No, and I appreciate that. For casting, we have casting websites. You can go there. You can apply there. It's very hard to explain to my boyfriend when I get pictures of like anonymous asses and dicks when I'm standing next to him or sitting next to him.
Right, like have some fucking respect.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, you hit me up on Instagram, and you had mentioned listening to the podcast, but also I found your message to me very interesting because you are 23 years old, correct?
Right.
Okay,
Right.
and you are in the closet.
Yeah, I am in the closet. You know, I hate my voice over the camera, over the phone. I just feel like it doesn't translate well.
You have a great
I
voice.
try
Don't worry.
to thank you. I don't know, insecurity. Yeah, I'm still in the closet. I try my best to mask it, even though I'm pretty confident that, everybody knows. I think it's more, like I said, I think it's more of like a me insecurity than like everyone loves me. I'm grateful to have great people in my life. My parents are great. My sister's great. Friends great. Like I've never really had an issue regarding my sexuality, which again I'm grateful for. And I know that there's a lot of people who aren't that who don't have that experience. To that I'm grateful. But I don't know.
Do you
There's something about my sexuality that's always made me a little bit insecure. I do have straight guy friends, and I don't know. I always felt a little bit inferior to them, not because they made me feel that way, but because I just get in my head and I just sometimes get a complex. I don't know. And I'm working on it. I'm working on not thinking that and really just embracing myself. But it doesn't happen overnight, and yeah, I'm working on it.
so a couple questions.
Okay.
I grew up in a time where it was I was also very fortunate. I was fortunate when I came out of the closet because I had a lot of gay friends, and
Hmm.
they were also out of the closet in high school, and we had a great deal of support. But I went to school in an urban area. I think it was a little more accepted. We had some people that were not cool with it. We've had, you know, I don't know, death threats, but definitely like I'm gonna beat the shit out of you threats. But
Right.
my question to you would be, as somebody from a different generation, do you think it's hard for someone like you being in your 20s to come out, or how do you see that?
I think that the world today, I mean, I obviously wasn't around like during time that you were my age, but not to date you or anything. Sorry.
It's okay.
um
I'm
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 just saying
comfortable.
I'm just saying that today and age, I think my generation and the generations to come, they have no like they're kind of breaking traditions.
Hmm.
So I definitely think that nowadays it's easier to come out, it's easier to be yourself, it's easier to embrace yourself. But I think no matter where you are on the LGBTQ spectrum, there's definitely a challenge embracing yourself and like truly being yourself, even if society is accepting. It's something,
Hmm.
it's for me, I mean, I can speak for myself. Like for me, it's like it's harder for me to accept myself than like everybody else, because like I said, I'm pretty sure everybody knows and no one gives a fuck. But it's like, why do I give a fuck so much,
Hmm.
even though I know it's going to be okay. you know
Grew up with both parents.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I Yeah. Yeah.
Any siblings?
I have one sister. Yeah, so it's just the four of us.
Hmm.
My parents, I never my parents, my mom's a sweetheart. My dad and I are good. Like I know I would never be disowned. Again, I keep saying this, but I know that they know. So I don't really know what my issue is. I'm really fortunate to have the family that I do.
We'll get into your straight friends in a little bit. By the way, I haven't forgotten that,
Okay.
but I do want to talk a little bit about your family. Your parents are what, in their late 40s, probably.
Later 40s.
Okay. All right. So that generation kind of was. I think they're a little older than I am. So we were. I'm not going to say bombarded, but it was definitely more of a presence when Will and Grace and all these shows in the 2000s, while you were growing up and while they were raising you. So it is a little easier.
Hmm.
And I guess what I'm trying to get to um, is there anything or any inclination or I just want to know where the hesitance is on your part. You identify as gay, correct?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Do you identify with the gay community?
Of course, yeah. Of
Like,
course, yeah.
do you do gay things? Do you go out and
Um,
gay bars and?
like I'll go to gay bars like on dates or whatever, but I don't typically like go to Pride, or I don't usually like wear rainbow stuff or whatever. Like I just
Mhm.
sorry, that's my puppy.
No worries.
Not that I'm like against it. I have complete respect. I acknowledge it. I just, me personally, it's just a process,
Mhm.
maybe I'll get there. But right now I'm like still like learning how to fully embrace that side of myself. So when I go to like the gay bars, whatever, I'm a little bit like in the closet. I'm a little bit shy, and I'm very extroverted, but when I'm in like gay environments, I get a little introverted. But you catch me anywhere else, like I'm pretty extroverted, and it's kind of backwards, honestly, with myself.
Do you you said you have straight friends.
I do, yeah.
How was high school for you?
High school was pretty good, honestly. I I always just you had a podcast with Romeo Davis, actually,
Mhm.
and he mentioned how in high school he was always like cool, like all the guys like liked him, like he was pretty extroverted, he was pretty, like, I hate to use the word like popular, I don't even know if that's what he used, but like I was just really good about like maintaining good relationships, like regardless if like a straight guy had a problem with me being gay or not, like they knew that I was like not going to hit on them,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was always really good about reading the room,
Mhm.
and like I've been with straight guys before, but like the way I go about that is you have to hit on me first, because everyone knows that I'm the gay one. Everyone
Mhm.
knows that like I swing that way. So like if 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 a I don't know, if you come on to me, that's because you came on to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone would expect me to go on to you, but for you to come to me, like that's on you, you know?
In high school, that's a different story. Like people
So
know who you
people,
are.
it's like people, it's like people know, but
Mhm.
like I've never like outrightly like expressed it. I've kind of like recently told some like really been open with some close friends or whatever, but it's like everybody knows, honestly.
Why do you think everybody knows?
I just, I don't know. I mean, I have straight friends, but I've always kind of gravitated more towards girls. Never had a girlfriend. I Also, the way that girls interact with me kind of gives it away.
Mhm.
Some of my straight friends, two of my really good straight friends who I've talked to, and like we've had a talk, and like I when I came out to them, we had like this whole just good moment of just talking about our relationship, and they were like, yeah, like we know, and like not to like make you feel bad, but like a lot of other people know, and I'm like, it was a good conversation, but I was like, but how do you guys know? And like, well, I mean, like you don't talk about girls with us, like you don't, like you don't like engage in like those straight guy conversations.
Mhm.
So to that, I get that.
It's interesting. You were a topic of conversation in their circles of friends, if any, or your circle of friends. You were a topic of
Right,
conversation.
right, right. But it's like cool because like no one gives a fuck, which
Yeah,
again, I'm super grateful for. I'm super grateful for that.
it's gonna sound ignorant, but from the sound of your voice and from how you describe yourself, you don't. I don't know what the best way around. Basically, you're not. You don't stand out as gay.
Yeah. I try not to. But I
You,
mean, I have my moments like I don't know, like I do. I still like. I don't know. This is super stereotypical, but I mean, like I like Britney Spears. I
okay.
like.
Yeah.
I like. I like trash reality TV. Like I'll watch like the
Yeah, but
Kardashians
come
or
on.
like
I know what you
like
mean.
I'll.
You kind of not that you identify, but as gay people, we're kind of you know everybody thinks you like Madonna, you like Cher, you like Britney Spears, you like all the sirens and divas and all that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like, but I also like rap music a lot, and I
Hmm.
also like to watch football with my dad. So I don't know. I kind of I enjoy how do you say? I enjoy like finding the balance between like, because I mean you can be masculine and like really flamboyant at the same time. I just enjoy like discovering more about my masculinity.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's kind of like this journey to me, and probably everybody else too. Everybody has a different experience, you know, a different journey. But that's kind of mine, you know.
Yeah. I'm always curious because there was always this argument, and there still is sometimes, about nature versus nurture. Well, that's more on the, oh, you're made gay or you're born gay. I consider nature versus nurture a little more how you develop as a gay person or as
No,
somebody
I
who's a
totally
lesbian,
agree.
or because one of the reasons why I asked if your father was present or if you both your parents were around, you had a strong male figure.
My dad, he worked a lot when I was younger, so I was with my mom and my sister a lot.
Hmm.
So I think, you know, to what you said, he wasn't around as much. He was around, but I was mainly with my mom. So I would
Hmm.
always be, you know, we'd be at the store, and I would always be like walking through, like, I don't fucking know, like the makeup aisles, or like, you know, like just like really feminine stuff. And you know, looking back on like my childhood, and I mean, I also played sports or whatever, but I just whatever, looking back on my childhood, or my youth, I in high school, I went through this huge Britney phase, like this huge, like early high school, this huge Britney phase. And then I like my dad started like working a little bit less, and I think I really just tried like masking it when he was more around. Or I
Hmm.
think that was like middle school, not high school. But yeah, no, yeah, to what you said about nature and nurture, I agree. Yeah. I think, you know, you're born gay, but it's about your development, and it's about like,
Hmm.
you know, the time in life you are, and like how you choose to go about and express yourself.
Hmm.
If that made any sense. I just,
No,
like I told you before we
yeah,
went live, I never shut the fuck up.
no, but I get what you're saying. The way I grew up was similar. My father was always working, but my mom was always working too. But I have two sisters, so I grew up around women. But my father was a very strong male presence, and
Okay.
and he's probably he came out to me, to be honest. Like he was like, whatever you are, I'm okay with, and I love you no matter what. And
Oh,
I
really?
was like 15.
Wow.
That was like a
So
year before I've said to myself, "Hey, you're gay."
he like knew before you did.
Yeah, I think he knew, and I think he knew for a long time, and I think that he kind of learned how to deal with it. And by the time he, I don't mean deal with it negatively. I think deal with it like, hey, my son is gay. I think he learned how to do that, and finally was able to say it to me when I was in my teens. So
Yeah, well, that's really cool. I don't know, maybe there's some element of, again, my parents know, so I don't know, like I know that they know, but I don't know what my issue is. I think it's just saying it out loud and like making it a real thing
mhm.
that I'm afraid of. But you know, everyone always says that once you say it, like it's like a burden's been lifted off your shoulders, and it's like I want to feel that. I don't know. I don't know why I just can't bring myself to do it yet. You know, one day.
It's not affecting your life though, right? You're fine. Like and
No.
when you say they know, have you ever walked into a conversation where they're like mention something or say something without
No.
no? Okay.
No, no, no. I just they're my parents. Like
Yeah.
they raised me. Like
Yes.
they know, you know, and
Hmm.
my sister too. Like it's like I feel like they're just waiting for me to do it, but I
Hmm.
just don't. I don't know what my problem is.
I don't think it's a problem. I think it is. It's hard. It's not easy. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
going back to young you,
Okay.
when did you start knowing that you?
Knowing,
Well, yeah.
I would say I don't know if there was a moment, but I just when I was like younger, like I don't know, elementary, whatever, I just had crushes on boys, but maybe like didn't realize that I was having crushes on them. I just like looked at boys like a different way than like the other boys did, you know?
Hmm.
And I think as I matured, maybe middle school is when I started watching porn.
Okay.
Um, like sixth, seventh, I would say like seventh grade. I think middle school is when I really started to explore that about myself and really acknowledge that I was gay
Where did you find porn at seventh grade? I'm just curious.
online.
Okay. Yeah. No.
um,
Well, yeah. That's
Yeah, I mean, Adam Russo is probably like the first, like my first. I mean, he's like everybody's, but like he was like my first, like wow, like I fucking love Adam Russo.
So let me get this straight. You were I would say 13 at the time.
There, yeah, however old you
13,
are.
13, and Adam Russo was your favorite porn star.
Yeah, there's a scene. Oh my God,
Ooh,
this
we
is.
are
I
gonna
hope he's
talk about
listening.
that.
I hope he's listening. I
Well, I'll make sure to mention
there's
it.
a scene with him and Kirk Cummings. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but like it's like an uncle
Mhm.
nephew scene. Oh
Okay.
my God, I just remember like that scene. Like when I was that age, like I could watch it every day and like not get bored of it.
Okay, okay, we'll come back to that for kinks and
Yeah, I'm
fetishes.
sorry. I
No
don't think I'm
worries,
on
no
that.
worries.
Adam Russo, call me. Just kidding.
Adam Russo is one of the best people I've ever worked with. He's
Oh, I know. He's such a sweetheart.
very,
Like
very cool guy.
I love him.
Yeah.
And so does like half the gay population, but
Yeah, it's so funny because I worked with him so much and we would, I'm just shooting this stuff. It wasn't until going online and being like, holy cow, all these people love this guy. Whenever we went anywhere, I remember going out with him and Champ Robinson once in the city. And,
uh-huh.
I was buying, I think I was buying around and I came back and Champ and him are surrounded by people and they're just making out, putting on a show for no, like, and they were just there being them and people were surrounding them.
Right.
I just think it's hysterical because I'm just like, okay, well, they're just like anybody else. I'm just hanging out with
Right.
them. And here's everybody like, mobbing them. Uh,
Right.
okay. So
Right.
Adam Russo, so seventh grade, you find porn online. And you went
Yeah.
straight to gay porn. You said you watch porn. Uh,
Well, yeah. I mean, I watched straight porn too. I forget who we were talking to also. It's just I like watching straight. I don't watch it as much anymore, but
mhm.
like I used to watch it a little bit more. Because there's something about like watching a guy like fuck a girl like super unattainable. You've
Yeah.
talked about this
Oh
in
yeah,
like
really
one
hot.
of your past.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super hot, and you've mentioned that you still watch some straight porn,
So
right?
some
Correct me if
straight
I'm wrong.
porn is being very generous. I love straight porn. It's weird,
Yeah,
but yeah.
but no, I mean, I would say that for definitely like 90% I'm watching gay porn, but
Okay.
I used to watch straight porn too, in answer to your question.
So straight porn, gay porn, at an early age, mostly on computers, I'm assuming, and your phone.
Well, yeah, like my iTouch at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah.
What is it about? Okay. Well, we're talking about porn. We're talking about certain guys and stuff. Let's get
Mhm.
into the guys that you grew up with, your friends in school.
Okay.
Now, when you said before that you feel inferior to them, does
Not all the
this
time, but
not all,
sometimes.
okay? So not all they're men to you, right? You're a man, but they are like manly men. Is that
Right, right,
where
right,
we're going?
right.
Okay.
Some about that, yeah.
Is there anything sexual attached to that?
Yeah, definitely. There's something about like having straight friends or like straight guys around you who are super comfortable with you and like
Mhm.
they have no problem like I don't know, like talking to you or like putting their arm around you in a super friendly way. Like
Mhm.
there's something like me, like I would never tell them that, but like I would never tell them like how much that's Loki kind of turns me on a little bit. That doesn't mean I want to like have sex with them because some of them I really like honestly like could never, just because I genuinely look at them as friends.
Mhm.
But something about like that comfortability and like that acceptance is what turns me on more so.
I agree with you. I feel the same way because of the fact that I was always very similar to you, the gay guy that you could hang out with, that you shouldn't be afraid of, that wasn't going to prey on you, you
Right,
know.
right, right.
But then again, I think that also comes with the fact that you're the same age. You're you're just experiencing life the way they are, just a little differently. And
Right,
and
right.
you're friends. You at that age, I think we have a genuine desire to have friends around us and people that care about us and show us that they care about us.
Yeah, of course. I mostly though hook up with older guys.
Okay, so you're into older guys.
I I've always been into older guys. I mean, I've I younger guys too, but younger. I mean, most guys are just dumb in general, but like I find that younger guys are just like super, like more so immature,
Mm.
and I've always kind of like prided myself on the fact that I'm a little bit more mature than guys my age.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that mental stimulation of like an older guy who like we can just have. I don't know. I just connect more with older guys and just find more maturity in them.
Do you have, before we get into the older guys, do you have by any chance, do you have that fetish? And I call it a fetish, and straight people will call it a fetish too, but that fetish, or cis people will call it a fetish, where if a straight guy like starts talking to you and you think he's attractive and he's like, hey, just like you were saying, they come on to you first, you'll go with it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
But
they have to be like they have to really give me that hint. Like
okay.
just because like a straight guy like taps me on the shoulder, like that's not enough for
Yeah.
me to like go all in, you know? Like you have to like
He has
give
to
me a
stick his
lot.
hand down
Like
your
you have
pants.
right, right. No, yeah, pretty much. Because then it's like, all right, like I'm gonna engage in this only because you started it.
Mm-hmm.
So if like you want to say whatever you want to say, like that's not fucking true
Mm.
because your hands in my pants right now. So you know.
Did you ever have situations where friends that you had growing up were curious?
I had one situation and we never had sex or anything, but it was really weird. I was telling like all the girls about it. And it was like he wanted it, but like he didn't want to go all the way. He was just kind of like leading me on and I was leading him on at the same time. It was like a really weird
It's a mind
game with
fuck.
like a cool well, yeah, it was a really weird game, but no, I never slept with him though. But I slept in bed with him one time, but we didn't do anything.
Sometimes that's nice too.
Yeah, yeah. Except he was a fuckhead, but it's okay.
So now let's talk a little bit about kinks and fetishes because
Okay.
okay, we talked about older guys. What is it about older men? Other than the conversation and stuff, like sexually, what attracts you to older men?
Sexually, I just like I don't know, like I like a grown man. I like a man who's like who they I like their body. I like that they're like fully this can sound weird, like fully like grown into
Yeah.
themselves. I just like that dominance about them. Even if like they like to bottom, just still like that daddy element, like that just like older, younger dynamic.
Hmm.
And like I said, the conversation, I don't know. I also like that they like that I'm super mature too, and that they like I like some. It's really more mental,
Hmm. Hmm.
but the physicalness definitely doesn't hurt.
Well, sometimes it could hurt.
I mean, definitely, but
What was your first encounter with an older guy? How was that?
with an older guy,
With an older guy,
shoot, I have to remember first.
yeah. Do you have many encounters with older men?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. My first older guy, I don't honestly, I can't really remember the first. It was obviously really good because I did it again and again and again.
Okay, so it was like
But
a fuck buddy that you had.
yeah,
We're talking about the same guy?
probably not.
No.
Um,
Okay.
but through I'm more I'm into the threesome thing.
Okay.
I probably before the pandemic really hit, I would say like end of 2019 is when I really got into like the threesome thing. I was on Grinder and I hit this guy up who I didn't know was in a relationship. Like he had like a boyfriend of like 5 years. Like they were super serious.
Hmm.
I just went over one day and we all just hung out. No sex, no nothing. We all just hung out. But it kind of took me by surprise because I had no idea that I'd be dealing with two of them,
Yeah.
and I really hit it off with them. And then we went out another time to a bar. We had sex that night, and I was like, I fucking love this. I need more of this. I really enjoyed being the third, and I enjoyed being like the younger third too, because they were like older. They were like late 30s, early
Okay.
40s. I don't know. And so I just kind of got into it.
Have you had more than a threesome?
No, but I want to.
Okay, so you're exploring your options.
Exploring, but like I know what I want.
Okay.
Like, yeah, that's another thing about older guys. Going back to what you said, like they're already experienced. They know what they like. They know. I like that too. That element.
Mm-hmm. When you get into a relationship with a man,
Mm-hmm.
what is that going to look like? What do you think that's going to look like?
So I actually just recently got out of my first ever relationship. I'm super picky. It takes a lot. So whatever. And like I said, I typically go for older. So I met a guy who was my age, and he just checked all my boxes. He mentally was on the same page as me. We acted the same. We had the same different like viewpoints. But we broke up because it was long distance.
Mm.
But that's a whole other can of worms. But you asked what a relationship looks like. I
What
don't know.
would
My standards are pretty high for guys my age. So I don't know. I guess I'll meet him when he comes my way. The reason why I did long distance with like a guy, I wouldn't have done it for nothing. He was my age. I just really, really, really connected with somebody my age that I never have before. It just wasn't realistic, and that's why we had to call it off. But
would you ever? I mean, I know it's a hypothetical, but because you enjoy being the third, would you ever be in a polyamorous relationship?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know about. I would like to think so. I'm pretty open. I'm pretty understanding that like one thing I like about threesomes is that I get turned on by seeing the trust that the couple have,
Okay.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
So like polyamorous, I mean, I don't know if I would be okay with like my
That's a full-time
partner
job.
like just
Yeah.
yeah, like just going out and about. But like if we're together and like if we talk about it, like I
Mm-hmm.
would be down for that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. I really get turned on by the trust that they have.
Yeah. It's
And I would like to I would hope that my partner would be open to threesomes too, with us and us having a third.
yeah, yeah. It's absolutely a trust thing. I've seen too many of them fall apart, especially in the industry. These guys, a lot of them are in relationships, and a lot of them are having sex with people for money on camera. And you have to be a strong partner and a strong person to be able to think when someone says, "Hey, I'm going to work,"
Right.
they're rolling around in bed with somebody else.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
but aside from that, I've met people. I've met porn stars who are in relationships with not one but two people, and yeah, it. I think no matter what, it does get tough, and you do need to have a really really good understanding of
Yeah,
how that's all
I
going
mean
to work out.
relationships in general are difficult, it's just all about the dynamic that you
Hmm.
guys have and
Hmm.
like how you guys communicate,
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, and it's different. Honestly, to me, it's difficult dealing with yourself. Then you have to learn how to cooperate with one person.
Right.
I wouldn't even
Right.
begin to understand how to cooperate with a third person. You know what I
No,
mean? That would be
yeah.
really hard.
Yeah, I don't know if I could get into like a throuple, like an actual, kudos to the people who
Yeah,
do, but I don't know if I could do that, rather than just having my partner and then just like our occasional like third fuck buddy.
yeah, yeah. Like a
Right.
like a quickie. Yeah, quick.
Yeah.
One and
Yeah.
done, or a couple times, but that's about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Huh. Any other kinks and fetishes that you developed?
God, I could talk about porn forever, but as far as like
Well, before we get into
myself,
that,
I mean,
actually, you know what? Before we get into kinks and fetishes, I'm sorry to interrupt. What is your relationship with porn like?
it's healthy. I mean, I go through phases where I'm super into it and then I like need a little bit of a break. I love it. I love it. I have my go-to porn stars, my go-to Twitters. I have like, I mean, like everybody, they have like a grocery list, quote unquote grocery list in their notes, but it's really just all their porn,
Yeah.
for like the really hot videos that they have. But you asked what my relationship is. It's really good. I find, I don't know, when I watch it, I just kind of like I just really dissect it. I just really I appreciate like the camera work. I appreciate the dynamic between the models. I look for something different every time. It really depends what I'm watching.
Mm-hmm. Do you prefer the content that looks like it's studio, or do you prefer it to look like you're in someone's house and they just put the
So,
camera on and fuck it?
you know, it depends. I don't really like a stationary phone like the whole time. Like to me, like you're not really getting like all the angles that I really want to see.
Mm-hmm.
You know who does it really well? Elijah Zane and Raheem. They
Okay.
have they have great um they have great like OnlyFans content and
Yeah.
great amateur, I guess, even
Mm-hmm.
though they're definitely far from fucking amateur.
Yeah.
They do a great job at it. And as far as studio goes, it's really nice to see like a production, and like, you know, I appreciate that too. Like Cocky Boys, love Cocky
Mm-hmm.
Boys. I think they do their camera work great. Their Treasure Island, which you work for, really great. I really like studio too. I really, as long as it's well produced, that's really what I care about.
Yeah. You know, it's hard. I remember. Well, this is also, I have a skewed view of it because of the fact that I do shoot porn. For me, it had to look like amateur porn. If it was gay, it had to look like amateur porn. It had to look like, I'm watching my best friend's friend who I just met the other day fuck his boyfriend or fuck his partner, or somebody, and
Hmm.
that's the way it did it. Very rare that I would watch other studios porn, or
Really?
or the porn that
Okay.
I would do. I would have to be a fan of the model.
Right.
Um, yeah, because it's also very hard because, kind of like Adam Russo, yeah, beautiful man, awesome performer, but I've hung out with him, I've broken bread with him, I talk to him,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. 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 No, totally.
it's one of
What?
those things
What?
where you're like, like I
Yeah.
don't know if you listen to the Beefcake Hunter interview. So
Nah,
so Victor
I
is
don't know.
it's on second season, and I flew down to Florida because Beefcake Hunter is a studio where this guy, Victor, is talent, but
Hmm.
he finds these hot straight guys and he blows them or he fucks them. And it's
I
one of
don't know
those.
if I remember that. I
Definitely,
definitely
yeah.
need to listen
You
to
know what?
that. Holy shit.
But also give him a shot. Check out his stuff. You'll find some stuff on Pornhub where they do the affiliate and you get a part of the scene.
Hmm.
It's really really good, to the point where when I found him, I was like, oh wow, this is a lot of fun. And then I interviewed him, and then I tried watching it after, and I was like, oh fuck, like it was kind of,
You just got too close for comfort.
yeah. We shared like 3 champagne bottles before we got on the plane. Me and my partner went down, and we hung out with him and his partner, and really really cool guy. And that had been the first time meeting him, and yeah, we had to. Well, afterwards, I came home and I was watching one of the scenes, and it's still hot. I know it's still hot, but I'm like, okay, well, I had a conversation with this guy. He's
Yeah. It's
it,
too personal at this
yeah, it
point.
changes it. It changes it. But
Yeah.
all in all,
I
still hot stuff. Check it out.
I definitely I will. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
I when I was younger, I used to look more at like type of porn, like whether it be like daddy porn or like more like a genre kind of porn.
Mhm.
But as I've gotten older, I look more for the model, like who I like, and like how they fuck, more so than like the story. I mean, I do like a story, but I watch now more for the models, and now more for like who I think bottoms great, tops great. Like I look more for that,
So when
how
you're,
someone fucks.
are you a top, bottom, or you verse?
So I'm verse. I like doing both. However, I like bottoming more.
Okay.
I like I definitely like bottoming more. However, do I like sex. I really like
Okay.
But I like bottoming more. My
Good.
favorite bottom at the moment is definitely Devin Franco. I
Okay.
fucking love Devin Franco. He's just
Yeah.
perfect.
Who's your favorite top at the
Top,
moment? Or do you have a couple?
Chirac.
Okay.
Honestly, I
Okay.
love Chirac.
Yeah.
I think I honestly want him to win all those awards that he's posting about.
Yeah. Yeah. I just saw his post today about his mom, conversation with his mom. Did you see that one?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I've really been on it or
go
checked it out, but I will.
go on Twitter later. It's adorable.
But also Chirac, call me.
That'd be amazing, right?
But yeah, I like Austin Wolf. I like shoot, I way more than I'm like even thinking of right now. JJ Knight's really amazing.
Do you picture yourself being at the top or the bottom in that situation, depending on who the model is?
I mostly like if I'm watching Chirac, I'm picturing myself being the bottom, but like I'm looking mostly at him.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, or like if Devin Franco, but like also like if I'm watching Devin Franco, who mostly bottoms, like I'll look at him and picture myself being him. So like I said, I really just look at the model and I watch for the models.
I gotta tell you, it's been fun. I hope. Have you had fun? Have we not? Have we
I had a
touched
great
on?
time. I'd love to come back.
Yeah. We should definitely talk about. I would love to know how everything goes with your parents. I think that honestly, if you are surrounded by love and you have a great dynamic with them and with your friends, and they all appreciate you and understand, whenever you're ready. But I think your parents are ready. I think your parents are cool, and it's gonna feel so much better. You know,
Yeah.
have you brought anyone home to meet your parents?
No.
That might be a good start
No.
too. Just don't bring home somebody
I,
that's older than your parents. That
yeah.
might, that's not a good first
Yeah.
step.
Yeah. Or more than one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. Dad, these are my boyfriends.
But I appreciate you saying that. I know you're right, and everyone else who's talking about it is right. I just need to build up to that, but I appreciate you saying that.
I'm glad that you are in a good place too. When you had spoken to me and I
Mm-hmm.
asked you to come on, I really just wanted to gauge where you were in the situation, where you
Mm-hmm.
were, how far you were from being open or coming or ready to come out of the closet. And I think you're in a very, very good spot. You're very good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. And yeah, you have a healthy relationship with porn. You seem sex positive, which is good. Just,
Very.
be safe. Be safe.
Yeah, of
Be a
course.
lot of
Of
things,
course.
like there's PrEP and all this stuff out there, but that's not the only thing. Everybody forgets that there's gonorrhea, that there's syphilis, that there's a whole bunch of other shit that doesn't go away.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So Jake, I have to thank you very much. I know that it's not easy talking about this stuff. However, you're, like I said before, you're in a good place. But thank you so
Thank you.
much for coming on to the podcast and speaking to us. And
Thank you.
no
I
problem.
love this podcast.
Good. I'm glad. I absolutely appreciate that. There's a lot of times that I sit there and I'm like, no one's listening, but people are listening.
I'm listening. So
Well, I appreciate that.
of course.
Guys, this has been Open Lines. We're talking sexuality. We're talking kinks, fetishes, and coming out. The podcast is available on every single podcast directory out there. We put it up on YouTube. You can watch that. Don't forget that I have a Q&A coming up. I will post about it. I'll talk about it. I'm thinking about featuring some music on it. Like I said before, I don't know how legal that is, but I think there's a loophole. So yeah, either way, we'll have fun. I'll let you know when it is. Once again, my name is Ike Grande. This is Demystifying Gay Porn. And if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped you get off. Cheers.